6 months after reclaiming the moon, Earth's leaders gathered in Seoul to discuss what the data from the Raxian base had revealed. The large conference room was filled with military officers, scientists, and government officials from around the world. Admiral Ji-ho Kim stood at the front, pointing to a holographic map of the galaxy. Their empire spans this entire region, he explained. Hundreds of star systems, dozens of conquered species, and according to their records, they're already sending reinforcements to Earth. How long do we have? Asked the American president. 8 months, maybe less, Ji-ho answered. Their faster-than-light technology is more advanced than what we've developed so far. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. They had won a battle, but the war was far from over. Dr. Min-ho Kang stepped forward. We've learned much from studying their technology. Their ships are faster than ours, but we now understand how their hive mind works. We know their weaknesses. So what do you suggest? Asked the Chinese premier. We hide and wait for them to arrive? Or we take the fight to them? General Junseo Park stood up. I believe we must do the latter. If we wait here, they'll arrive, with overwhelming force. But if we strike first at their homeworld, we might negotiate from a position of strength. Negotiate? The Russian president looked skeptical. They've shown no interest in diplomacy. Engineer Da Yun spoke next. That's because we couldn't communicate with them properly. The hive mind doesn't understand individual thought. But I've been working on something that might change that. All eyes turned to her as she activated a small device on the table. A hologram appeared, showing a complex neural interface. This device can temporarily connect a human mind to the Raxian hive mind, she explained, allowing direct communication and, if necessary, direct confrontation in their collective consciousness. Is that safe? Ji-ho asked, concerned. Da-yun hesitated. For the Raxians, no. Their greatest strength is also their vulnerability. One human mind with all its creativity and adaptability, introduced into their rigid collective thinking, could cause chaos. It could potentially reshape their entire consciousness. And for the human? Junseo asked quietly. Unknown, Da-un admitted. No one has ever merged with an alien hive mind before. The psychological effects could be severe. The room erupted in debate. Some argued for using the device as a weapon, others as a tool for peace. Some rejected the idea entirely as too dangerous. Eventually, Ji-ho raised his hand for silence. I volunteer to make the connection when we reach the Raxian homeworld. Admiral, we can't risk losing you, Junseo protested. I'm not asking permission, Ji-ho replied firmly. I've studied the Raxians more than anyone. I've fought them in space. I understand how they think. It has to be me. Preparations began immediately. Earth's fleet, now 100 ships strong, was upgraded with the latest technology derived from Raxian designs. Weapons were improved, engines enhanced. Every vessel was equipped with Da-yun's disruption devices. While engineers worked on the ships, Ji-ho underwent intensive training with Da-yun and Min-ho. Day after day, he practiced controlling his thoughts, focusing his mind. If he was to enter the hive mind, he needed perfect mental discipline. Think of it like swimming in a vast ocean, Da-yun explained. The hive mind will try to drown you, to absorb your consciousness. You must remain yourself while still connecting with them. Ji-ho nodded, though privately he wondered if such a thing was truly possible. The human mind was not designed for collective consciousness. 2 weeks before the fleet was scheduled to depart, Subin Choi requested a meeting with Ji-ho. They walked through a park in Seoul, cherry blossoms falling around them. You wanted to see me? Ji-ho asked. Subin nodded. I want to join your ship for the mission to the Raxian homeworld. Ji-ho studied her. Subin had become one of Earth's most decorated soldiers, famous for her precision and calm under pressure. Why? He asked. You've done more than your share, already. Subin looked at the peaceful park around them. When I was a competitor in the Olympics, I learned that the most important moment is not when you fire, but in the pause before, the moment of perfect clarity. I've never felt more alive. Then in those pauses, she turned to face him. Fighting the Raxians, I found that clarity again. I understand them in a way others don't. If your plan fails, someone will need to complete the mission. Jiho considered her words. Report to the Phoenix tomorrow. The day of departure arrived. Earth's fleet gathered in orbit, a testament to how far humanity had come in just 18 months. Ships of different designs built by different nations but all serving the same purpose, to defend their world. On the bridge of the Phoenix, Jiho addressed his crew, and through video links, the crews of all other ships. Today we undertake humanity's first journey to another star system, he began, not for exploration or discovery, but out of necessity. The Raxians thought they found easy prey when they discovered Earth. Instead, they awakened something they never encountered in their expansion. Apex predators who conquered their planet, not through natural weapons or physical strength, but through intelligence, cooperation, and the indomitable will to survive. He paused, looking at the faces around him. General Jun Seo at Tactical, Dr. Min Ho and Da Yun monitoring the neural interface, Subin at the weapons station, and many others all committed to the mission. We go to the Raxian homeworld not to destroy them, but to deliver a message, Jiho continued. We come in peace, but never mistake our kindness for weakness. We are apex predators in human skin, and we will defend what is ours. The fleet activated, their faster-than-light drives disappearing one by one into the darkness between stars. 3 weeks later, they emerged in orbit around a red-orange planet, the heart of the Raxian Empire. Thousands of ships surrounded it, more than Earth's fleet could ever hope to defeat in conventional battle. All ships, activate disruption devices, Jiho ordered. Across the fleet, Dayun's technology came to life, sending waves of interference through the Raxian network. On the planet below and in ships around it, drones suddenly lost connection to the hive mind, creating confusion throughout the Raxian forces. Jiho turned to Da-un. It's time. She activated the neural interface, attaching sensors to Jiho's temples. Remember your training. Find the central consciousness. Don't lose yourself. Jiho closed his eyes as the device activated. His body remained on the bridge of the Phoenix, but his mind traveled along invisible pathways into the vast network of the Raxian hive mind. At first, he felt overwhelmed by millions of voices thinking as one. The hive mind tried to absorb him, to erase his individuality. But Jiho focused on who he was, his memories, his identity, his humanity. Gradually, he found himself in a mental space where he could communicate with the core consciousness of the hive mind. Why do you attack us? The hive mind asked, its thoughts alien but understandable. You attacked us first, Jiho responded. You took our people, killed our defenders. We expand. We grow. It is our nature, the hive mind explained without emotion. You are individuals, inefficient, unpredictable. That is our strength, Jiho countered. Our unpredictability, our creativity, our ability to function both as individuals and as a group. We can be alone or together. We can follow orders or make our own decisions. He shared images from Earth's history. Humans surviving ice ages, building civilizations, exploring their world, and finally reaching for the stars. He showed the hive mind what it meant to be human, the joy, the pain, the love, the loss, the endless drive to improve and grow. We offer peace between our species, Jiho told the hive mind. But know this, if you attack us again, we will not show mercy. We evolved as predators. We can become what we need to be to survive. On the bridge of the Phoenix, Subin watched Jiho's vital signs carefully. His heartbeat was steady, his brain activity intense but stable. Whatever battle he was fighting in the Raxian hive mind, he was holding his own. After what seemed like hours, Jiho opened his eyes. He looked exhausted but calm. They've agreed to peace, he said quietly. They've never encountered a species like us before. They don't fully understand us, but they respect our strength now. The crew cheered. The sound echoed throughout the fleet as the news spread. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious, not through superior numbers or technology, but through the unique combination of traits that made them human. As the fleet prepared for the long journey, Jiho looked out at the stars. The galaxy was vast, filled with unknown dangers and potential allies. Humanity was ready to take its place among them, not as conquerors, but as protectors, apex predators who had learned to use their strength wisely. The Raxians had made a simple but profound mistake. They had judged humans by their appearance, not realizing that beneath the soft skin and civilized exterior lurked the heart of a species that had survived against all odds for hundreds of thousands of years. They had picked a fight with apex predators. They would not make that mistake again. Admiral Dae Kim stood on the bridge of the EFS Dauntless. This was the main ship of Earth's space fleet. At 53 years old, his face showed the marks of a life spent facing challenges. First in Earth's oceans as a Navy leader, then in space as humans began to travel beyond their solar system. On the big screen in front of him, he could see an alien ship 3 times bigger than his own. "Status report," Dae said in a calm voice, even though everyone on the bridge felt tense. Lieutenant Han, who was in charge of communications, looked up from her station. "They still aren't answering our calls, Admiral. They are staying at the edge of the Arcturus system." Next to Dae, Science Officer June Park cleared his throat. "Our scans show their weapons are active, but not aimed at us yet. Their technology seems to be about 20 years ahead of ours." Dae nodded as he thought about what to do. Humans had only learned how to travel faster than light 15 years ago. Since then, they had met 4 other species that could travel in space. All those first meetings had been peaceful, even if careful. This was different. Record another message, Dae decided. Use the standard greeting on all channels. As Han got ready to send the message, Tactical Officer Tae Lee spoke up. "Admiral, they're sending out smaller ships, 20 vessels coming toward us." Dae's eyes narrowed. "Stay in defense position. Don't do anything that looks like an attack." The smaller alien ships formed a perfect circle around the Dauntless, staying just out of weapons range. Then, without warning, every communication system on the human ship turned on at once. A harsh, clicking voice filled the bridge. "Humans, your expansion stops here. The Krivax Dominion claims this and all nearby sectors. Go back to your solar system now or be destroyed." The bridge went quiet. Humans had faced many challenges in their history: disease, climate disasters, wars over resources. But they had survived and adapted each time. Now, just 10 years into their time as a space-traveling species, they faced their first threat. From outside Earth, Dae straightened his uniform. "Lieutenant Han, open a channel." "Channel open, sir. This is Admiral Dae Kim of the Earth fleet ship Dauntless. We don't claim any territory except our home system. We only want peaceful exploration and contact with other intelligent species. There is no need for conflict." The answer came right away. "Your species is young and undisciplined. You expand too fast, consume too much. The Dominion has watched your kind. You will become a threat if allowed to spread. This is your only warning." Before Dae could answer, all the alien ships disappeared in flashes of light, showing technology far beyond what humans had. 3 days later, the first Krivax attack hit an unarmed research station at the edge of human space. No one survived. In the weeks that followed, Dae met with Earth's leaders. They all agreed that humanity faced its greatest test. "We don't know much about these Krivax," said Defense Minister Ji during the emergency meeting. "But we know they won't talk. They've attacked 3 more outposts since the first one. Their technology is superior," added Science Director Yun. "Their ships are faster, their weapons more powerful. From what little data we've gathered, they may have been in space thousands of years longer than us." The room grew quiet as everyone considered what this meant. Humans were outmatched. "Then we don't fight them on their terms," Dae said finally. "Throughout our history, humans have faced stronger opponents. We've survived ice ages, predators, plagues, and our own wars. Each time we adapted." "What are you suggesting, Admiral?" asked President Song. "We study them. We learn how they think, how they fight. Then we use what makes humans different. Day stood and walked to the display showing the known Kryvax attacks. They're organized, precise. Their attacks follow clear patterns that suggest they value order. And humans? Asked G. We thrive in chaos, Day answered. We improvise. We change tactics. Our entire evolution has been about adapting to new threats. The defense minister nodded slowly. You want to fight a guerrilla war in space. I want to show them that attacking humans was their worst mistake, Day replied. We need to gather more information, set traps, test their responses. President, Song studied Day's face for a long moment. Very well, Admiral. You have authorization to form a special response force. Choose whoever you need. 1 month later, the EFS Dauntless led a small fleet of 5 ships to a system the Kryvax had recently claimed. They carried new sensor equipment designed to learn more about the enemy. Science Officer June had developed it based on limited scans from the first encounter. They're coming, Tay announced from the tactical station. 3 large ships approaching at high speed. Hold position, Day ordered. Let's see what they do. The Kryvax ships formed a perfect triangle formation and advanced steadily. They're charging weapons, Tay warned. Day nodded. Now we know their standard approach. Execute pattern alpha. The human ships suddenly scattered in 5 different directions. The Kryvax formation faltered, as if confused by the lack of a proper battle line. They're targeting the Intrepid, Tay reported. As expected, Day said calmly. Tell Captain Moon to activate the shield modifications. When the Kryvax fired on the Intrepid, their energy weapons hit the new shields June had designed. Instead of trying to block the attack directly, the shields bent the energy around the ship. Not perfect, but enough to reduce damage by 60%. Their weapons are slightly less effective than we thought, June noted, studying the data, flowing in. And look at this. They took 12.3 seconds to adjust their formation when we scattered. That's slow, Day smiled slightly. Lieutenant Han, send the prepared message to Earth. Include all sensor data. What does the message say? Asked Tay. That we found our first advantage, Day replied. The Kryvax don't adapt quickly to unexpected tactics. Now activate Phase 2. The Dauntless suddenly accelerated toward the nearest Kryvax vessel, while the other human ships launched what looked like debris into space. They're not responding yet, Tay reported. Still focused on the Intrepid. They follow their battle plan even when it's not working, Day observed. Interesting. The debris field suddenly came alive. Small, unmanned drones that attached to the Kryvax ships and began collecting data before the aliens could react. We have 45 seconds before they target the drones, June said, watching the sensor feeds. More than enough, Day replied. Order all ships to fall back. We got what we came for. As the human ships jumped away, Day knew this was just the beginning. The war would be long and hard. Humans would lose battles, lose ships, lose lives. But they had confirmed something important. The Kryvax, for all their technological superiority, lacked humanity's greatest strength, the ability to adapt, to think creatively when faced with new situations. The Kryvax attacked us because they feared what humans might become, Day told his crew as they headed home. They didn't realize that by threatening our existence, they would force us to evolve faster than ever before. The first real test of humanity had begun, a test written in the language of survival, a language humans had been speaking for 300,000 years. 6 months into the war, and humans were losing badly. Colonel Sun Li stared at the map showing human territory. 12 outposts destroyed, 3 colonies emptied, 5 military ships lost with all crew members. The Kryvax had better technology, more ships, and fought with a cold efficiency that made them scary enemies. Yet something was changing. Show me the Battle of Proxima Centauri again, Sun told the computer. The display changed to show the fight from 3 weeks ago, the first time humans had managed to destroy a Kryvax ship. Captain Jin Yu stood beside her, studying the battle. We should not have won that fight, he said. They had 3 times. More firepower than us. But we did win, Sun replied, stopping the playback at an important moment. Look here. The Krivax ships keep perfect formation even when it hurts them. They follow their plans exactly, even when those plans fail. Jin nodded slowly. They don't change during battle. Exactly. Sun zoomed in on part of the display. And here, when Captain Mun suddenly changed tactics, the Krivax took 12.4 seconds to respond. That's forever in a space battle. The door opened, and Admiral Dae Kim entered with Dr. Jihu Kang, Earth's top alien biologist. Both looked tired but determined. "We finished studying the Krivax remains," Dr. Kang announced, turning on her own display. "They're a hive-based species with machine parts in their bodies. Their brains are good at remembering and following instructions, but bad at creative problem-solving." Sun felt hope for the first time in months. They're not good at making things up as they go. More than that, Dr. Kang continued, the Krivax evolved in a stable environment with few dangers and little competition. Their society has been advanced for thousands of years longer than ours, but biologically they haven't faced challenges in a very long time. Admiral Kim's eyes lit up with understanding. While humans evolved under constant threat, Dr. Kang confirmed. Predators, changing weather, competition for food. Our entire history is one of adapting to new threats and opportunities. We're wired to improvise, to find creative solutions, to think differently when direct approaches fail. Jin looked doubtful. That's all very interesting, but they still have better ships, better weapons, and more of them. Then we stop fighting like them, Admiral Kim declared. No more traditional fleet battles, no more predictable tactics. He turned to Colonel Sun. I'm approving Operation Mongoose, guerrilla warfare across all fronts. For the first time in 6 months, Sun smiled. Humans weren't the strongest species in the galaxy, nor the most technologically advanced. But they were perhaps the most adaptable, and adaptation had always been humanity's greatest weapon. 2 weeks later, Sun led a small team on a mission to test their new approach. They had 3 small ships hiding in an asteroid field. A Krivax supply convoy was expected to pass through this system. Ships approaching, reported Lieutenant Hana Cho from her sensor station. 6 escorts surrounding 2 large cargo vessels. Standard Krivax formation, Sun noted. They never change it, even though we've attacked 3 of their convoys in the past month. Next to her, Jin checked the status of their new weapons. Drone mines ready. EMP charges at full power. Sun nodded. They'll expect a direct attack like all our early battles, so we give them something new. She activated the comm system. All ships execute pattern echo. Timing is everything. The 3 human ships released 24 small drones, then powered down to minimal systems. The drones, each no bigger than a small car, moved silently through the asteroid field. The Krivax convoy is maintaining course and speed, Hana reported. They haven't detected the drones. Sun watched the display carefully. The Krivax relied heavily on active scanning. They sent out energy pulses and analyzed what bounced back. But the drones were designed to absorb those pulses, not reflect them. Another adaptation based on studying the enemy. Drones in position, Jin announced. Sun took a deep breath. Activate. The drones suddenly came to life, swarming around the Krivax convoy from all directions. But instead of attacking, they began broadcasting on all frequencies, creating a wall of electronic noise that blocked the Krivax ships from communicating with each other. Krivax ships are breaking formation, Hana said, surprise in her voice. They're confused. They rely on central control, Sun explained. Without clear orders, they don't know what to do. Now came the real attack. From the far side of the asteroid field, a single human ship appeared, launching EMP missiles directly at the largest cargo vessel. Without coordination, the escort ships couldn't respond effectively. The missiles hit their target and the cargo ship went dark as its systems failed. Move in, Sun ordered. We have 4 minutes to board before their backup systems activate. Jin looked concerned. That's cutting it close. Sun smiled. Life always cuts it close, Captain. That's why humans are good at this. 30 minutes later, they were heading home with the stolen Kryvax cargo, raw materials that Earth desperately needed, and more importantly, a data core from the ship's computer. Back at Earth's main space station, Admiral Kim was waiting when they docked. "Successful mission," Sun reported. "Minimal damage to our ships, no casualties, and we got the data core." Admiral Kim nodded approvingly. "Dr. Kang is eager to see it. Every bit of information helps us understand them better." As they walked through the station, Sun noticed something new. Manufacturing areas that had been empty before were now busy with activity. "What's all this?" she asked. "Operation Mongoose Phase 2, Admiral Kim replied. "We're not trying to build Kryvax technology anymore. We're building human technology." He led her to a large viewing window. Below, engineers were working on small, oddly shaped ships unlike any Sun had seen before. "These are the Hydra ships," Kim explained. "Thousands of small vessels working together like a swarm of bees. Each one can act independently but also as part of the group. The Kryvax have nothing like this. Their battle doctrine requires clear chains of command and control." Sun studied the ships with interest. "They'll have trouble targeting so many small vessels at once." "Exactly," Kim agreed. "And each one carries a chaos engine." "A what?" Dr. Kang joined them, datapad in hand. "A new kind of computer that makes unpredictable decisions, inspired by the human brain. The Kryvax think logically, step by step. These chaos engines don't. They make intuitive leaps, take calculated risks, do things that make no sense until they work." Sun understood now. Humans weren't trying to match Kryvax technology. They were creating something entirely new based on their own evolutionary strengths. "How soon until they're ready?" she asked. "First squadron launches next week," Kim answered. "We're calling it the Swarm Initiative." Sun looked out at the busy work below. For the first time since the war began, she felt real hope. The Kryvax had started this war believing their advanced technology made victory certain. They didn't understand what they were fighting. Humans had spent 300,000 years learning how to survive against stronger opponents. They had faced ice ages, predators, disease, and their own wars. Each challenge had forced them to adapt, to find new solutions, to think beyond the obvious. "The Kryvax think they're fighting a primitive species," Sun said quietly. "They don't realize they're fighting the most dangerous kind of opponent." "What's that?" asked a young engineer who had joined. "Them." Sun turned to him with a grim smile. "A cornered one that refuses to die." Supreme Overlord Zexathar of the Kryvax Dominion was feeling something unusual. Doubt. The war against the humans was supposed to be a simple cleaning operation, a preventative measure against a potentially disruptive species. It should have been finished within one stellar cycle. Yet here, 18 cycles later, the Dominion was on the defensive. Zexthar's faceplates clicked rapidly as he reviewed the latest reports. 43 vessels lost in the past quarter cycle, alone. 3 mining outposts raided. A communications hub infiltrated and its data stolen. And still, the humans kept changing their tactics, adapting new technologies, finding weaknesses in Kryvax systems that the Dominion's engineers had not predicted. "The Council is assembled, Supreme Overlord," his attendant announced. Zexthar moved to the Grand Chamber where the 12 hierarchs of the Dominion waited. Their displeasure was clear in the blue-gray color of their outer shells. "This conflict is not going well," began First Hierarch Kexmore. "Resources are being diverted from 17 development projects. The Dominion's expansion has stopped. The humans are more problematic than we expected," Zexthar admitted. "They should be destroyed immediately," declared Third Hierarch Vexlier. "Send the Central Fleet. Destroy their homeworld." Zexthar's plates clicked in disagreement. "We have lost every battle involving more than 6 capital ships in the past 8 cycles. The humans target our command vessels with amazing accuracy." "How is this possible?" demanded 7th Hierarch Nextier. "They are technologically inferior." "Because they are predators," came a voice from the chamber entrance. All plates turned toward the newcomer, Tirzak, the Dominion's senior biologist. "Explain." ordered Zexathar. Tirzak approached the central display. The Kryvax evolved as hive builders, collective-minded, orderly. We have been spacefaring for 9,000 cycles, advancing steadily, methodically. The biologist activated a display. Humans evolved as persistence predators on a world of extreme environmental changes. The display showed primitive humans chasing prey across a flat grassland. They do not tire easily. They do not give up. Throughout their evolution, humans hunted, by exhausting prey that could initially outrun them. They followed for days if necessary, adapting to changing conditions, learning, planning. Tirzak's voice held a note of fascination. Even before they developed technology, they were thinking several steps ahead, anticipating their prey's movements. The display shifted to show early human warfare. As they developed, they turned these same abilities against rival groups. For 300,000 cycles of their development, they have been fighting each other, constantly evolving new strategies, weapons, and tactics. Zexathar felt his plate stiffen. "You are suggesting—" "I am stating fact," Tirzak corrected. "While we were building our perfect orderly society, humans were becoming the most efficient competitive species in their sector. Their entire psychology is built around overcoming stronger opponents through cunning, persistence, and adaptation." The chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. "We are not fighting a primitive species," Tirzak concluded. "We are fighting the apex predator of their world, a species naturally selected for exactly the kind of conflict we have started." In a hidden command center beneath Earth's moon, Admiral Dae Kim received the most important transmission of the war. "We've broken their encryption," announced June Park, now promoted to Chief Science Officer. "We're receiving direct feeds from their Leadership Council." Around the conference table sat the architects of humanity's resistance. Colonel Sun Lee, Dr. Ji-Hoo Kang, Dr. Min Park, and the newly promoted Captain Yoon Song. "They're afraid," Dr. Kang observed, studying the Kryvax transmissions. "Their society values order and predictability. We represent chaos to them." Admiral Kim nodded slowly. "Then let's show them just how chaotic we can be." 3 days later, Operation Chaos Mind began. At precisely the same time, human forces attacked 50 different Kryvax targets across 30 star systems. Some were major assaults, others were small raids. Some were merely electronic warfare, creating false sensor readings. But each attack was different. Each used unique tactics, and each was designed to spread the Kryvax forces thin, to make them respond to so many different threats that they couldn't coordinate effectively. "They're breaking formation in Sector 7, reported Colonel Sun, monitoring the tactical displays. "Their response time has increased to 22 seconds. And in Sector 12, they've completely withdrawn," added Captain Yoon. "They're consolidating their forces around major installations." Admiral Kim studied the strategic map with satisfaction. "They're becoming defensive. Good. Phase 2 begins tomorrow." The next day, all human attacks suddenly stopped. Every ship withdrew. Every outpost went silent. For 7 days, there was no human activity anywhere in contested space. The Kryvax were confused. Their scouts reported no movement. Their sensors detected no human vessels. It was as if humanity had suddenly given up. "This makes no sense," Zexathar told the council. "They were winning small victories. Why would they stop?" "Perhaps they are regrouping," suggested 4th Hierarch Mextor. "Or perhaps it is another tactic we do not understand," Tirzak countered. "Their psychology is alien to us. They do not value order as we do." On the 8th day, human forces struck again, but only at a single target. The main Kryvax fuel processing facility in the Rigel sector. The attack was massive, unexpected, and devastatingly effective. 300 Hydra swarm ships surrounded the facility, each following a different attack pattern guided by its chaos engine. "Their defenses can't track the swarm," Yoon reported from her command ship. "We're inside their response window." Within hours, the facility was crippled. Human forces disappeared before the Kryvax reinforcements could arrive. 2 days later, they struck again, this time at a communications hub 12 sectors away. Again, a single concentrated attack. Again, a victory. I understand now, Admiral Kim told his commanders. We observed their psychology through their transmissions. The Kryvax need patterns. They need to understand what we're doing in order to plan against it. So we give them a pattern, attack, then stop, then attack somewhere else, but we make the pattern itself unpredictable. Dr. Kang nodded. It's causing extreme stress in their command structure. They can see there's a pattern, but they can't predict where we'll strike next or how long we'll wait. And stress leads to mistakes, Colonel Sun added. More than that, Dr. Kang said. The Kryvax evolved as a hive species. Their natural instinct when threatened is to gather together for protection. That's why they're consolidating their forces. Captain Un saw the opportunity, making their remaining targets even more valuable. Admiral Kim smiled grimly. Exactly. And when we destroy those targets, the psychological impact will be even greater. During the next 30 days, human forces continued their unpredictable assault. Sometimes they would attack daily. Sometimes they would wait for weeks. Sometimes they would hit multiple targets simultaneously. Sometimes just one. The Kryvax could not adapt fast enough. Their orderly minds struggled to understand the human approach to warfare. They began to make mistakes. Ships were sent to defend outposts that weren't under attack. Resources were wasted fortifying facilities that humans ignored. We're not just winning battles now, Admiral Kim told Earth's leaders during a strategy meeting. We're winning the psychological war. The Kryvax cannot understand us, and what they cannot understand, they fear. President Song regarded him thoughtfully. And what is our end goal, Admiral? Complete destruction of the Kryvax? No, Kim replied firmly. Humanity is not genocidal. Our goal is to force them to the negotiating table, to convince them that continuing this war is against their interests. And how do we do that? Asked Defense Minister G. Admiral Kim's expression was serious. By hitting them where it will hurt the most. Their homeworld. Not to destroy it, but to demonstrate that we could if we wanted to. The room fell silent as everyone considered the implications. A dangerous gamble, President Song said finally. The entire war has been a gamble, Kim replied. But we've learned enough about the Kryvax psychology now to know this. They respect strength, but they value survival above all. Show them that continued war threatens their survival, and they will seek peace. The president nodded slowly. Very well, Admiral. Operation Final Message is approved. As Kim left the meeting, he thought about how far humanity had come since that first encounter with the Kryvax. They had been outmatched technologically, outgunned, outnumbered, but they had never been outsmarted or outadapted. It was time to show the Kryvax exactly what 300,000 years of human evolution had created. Not just a spacefaring civilization, but the most dangerous adaptive intelligence the galaxy had yet seen. On the bridge of the EFS Relentless, Admiral Dae Kim surveyed the largest human fleet ever assembled. 112 major vessels, supported by over 5,000 Hydra swarm ships. Every ship was equipped with the latest adaptive technologies, chaos, engines, biomimetic systems, and weapons specifically designed to target Kryvax vulnerabilities. All ships report ready, Admiral, Captain Yoon Song informed him. Now his first officer, she had proven herself one of humanity's most innovative tacticians. Very good, Captain, Dae acknowledged. Begin Operation Final Message. Throughout the fleet, chaos engines activated, distributing individualized battle plans to each vessel. No two ships would follow the same approach. Unpredictability had become humanity's greatest weapon. The fleet jumped to faster-than-light travel, emerging directly in the Kryvax home system, not at the outer planets where defenses would expect them, but in a complex three-dimensional formation surrounding the Kryvax homeworld itself. Immediately, the Dominion's defense grid activated, but the human vessels were already executing evasive patterns too chaotic for Kryvax targeting systems to predict. Open a channel to the Dominion leadership, Dae ordered. Within moments, Supreme Overlord Zexathar's image appeared on the view screen. You violate Dominion space, the alien stated. though Day detected uncertainty in its tone. "You began this war," Day replied calmly. "We are ending it." Around the Kryvax homeworld, human ships deployed a new weapon, quantum disruptors that interfered with the Dominion's communication networks without causing physical damage. "Your defenses are neutralized," Day continued. "Your fleet is scattered across 17 systems pursuing phantom signals we planted. We could destroy your civilization now." The Kryvax leader's plates clicked rapidly in what Dr. Kang had identified as extreme distress. "Yet you do not attack," Zexthar observed. "No," Day agreed. "We don't want your destruction. We want you to understand something fundamental about humanity." On cue, Dr. Jihu Kang stepped forward. "Your species evolved for cooperation and order, Supreme Overlord. Ours evolved for adaptation and survival against overwhelming odds. You attacked us because you feared what we might become. In doing so, you accelerated our development by centuries. We have mapped your entire territory," added Colonel Sun Li. "We understand your technology better than many of your own engineers. We know the locations of all 14 of your colony worlds. And we are choosing not to use that knowledge to harm you," Day finished. "That is the other thing you must understand about humans. We can be ruthless when threatened, but we prefer peace when given the choice." Zexthar was silent for several moments. "The Dominion does not surrender." "We're not asking for surrender," Day replied. "We're offering a partnership. Humanity has developed technologies in 18 months that your civilization hasn't conceived in 1,000 years. Imagine what we could accomplish together instead of in opposition." The quantum disruptors deactivated, restoring the Kryvax defense systems. It was a calculated risk. The human fleet was now vulnerable if the Dominion chose to attack. "You're giving us back our defensive capabilities," Zexthar observed. "Why?" "To demonstrate trust," Day explained. "You need to understand that humans are not simply warriors. We're explorers, scientists, builders. We fought because we had to. We'll make peace because we choose to." The bridge fell silent as they awaited the Kryvax response. Finally, Zexthar's plates clicked in a pattern Dr. Kang had never observed before. "The Dominion acknowledges the unique capabilities of humanity," the alien leader stated carefully. "We will consider your proposal of partnership rather than conflict." After the transmission ended, Captain Yoon turned to Admiral Kim. "Do you think they'll honor it?" Day smiled slightly. "They're logical beings. They've calculated the odds and realized that a species that evolved through 300,000 years of constant adaptation, that turned from stone tools to spaceflight in a biological eye blink, might make a better ally than enemy." 2 months later, the first peace talks between humans and the Kryvax Dominion began on a neutral space station. Representatives from both species approached the negotiations cautiously, but with growing respect. "They still don't fully understand us," Dr. Kang told Admiral Kim as they prepared for the day's session. "Their minds work differently, but they're trying to learn." "And we're learning about them," Kim replied. "That's the foundation of any lasting peace." The negotiations weren't easy. Centuries of Kryvax expansion had made them unused to treating other species as equals. But the demonstration at their homeworld had left a lasting impression. For the first time in their history, the Kryvax had encountered a species that could not only match them, but could think in ways they could not predict. "We propose a joint scientific mission," Zexthar announced during the 3rd week of talks. "There is a sector of space neither of our species has explored. The Dominion has the resources. Humanity has the creative problem-solving abilities." President Song, who had joined the talks, nodded in agreement. "A peaceful exploration would benefit both our peoples." As the details were worked out, Admiral Kim found himself in conversation with Tirzak, the Kryvax biologist who had first recognized the true nature of humanity. "Your species fascinates me," Tirzak admitted. "You have accomplished in months what would take the Dominion decades." "Necessity," Kim replied. "When survival is at stake, humans adapt quickly." "It is more than that," Tirzak observed. "The Dominion has faced extinction before. We responded by becoming more rigid, more orderly. You became more flexible, more creative." Kim considered this. Different evolutionary paths. Your species valued the collective safety of order. Ours valued the individual's ability to adapt. And which is superior? Asked Tirzak. Neither, Kim answered. Both have led to advanced civilizations capable of reaching the stars. But together, combining order with creativity, stability with adaptation, we could accomplish great things, Tirzak finished. 1 year after the demonstration at the Kryvak's homeworld, the first joint mission launched. The research vessel Harmony carried both human and Kryvak scientists to explore a distant star cluster. Its design reflected both species' approaches, Kryvak's efficiency and human adaptability. On the observation deck, Colonel Sun Lee stood beside a Kryvak's engineer named Rex Carr, watching as the ship prepared to jump to faster-than-light speed. Your people fought with impressive skill, Rex Carr noted. The Dominion had not experienced defeat in 7,000 cycles. We had no choice, Sun replied. When threatened, humans fight to survive. And when not threatened? Sun smiled. We explore, we create, we build. That's the irony of evolution. The same adaptability that made us dangerous enemies can make us valuable friends. Rex Carr's plates clicked, and what Sun had learned was agreement. The Dominion's mistake was seeing only potential danger in humanity's rapid development. A natural response, Sun acknowledged. The unknown is often frightening. Less unknown now, Rex Carr observed, though I suspect humanity will continue to surprise us. As the Harmony jumped into faster-than-light speed, Admiral Kim watched. From Earth Command. The war had cost both species dearly, but from that conflict had come a grudging respect and now, the beginning of cooperation. The Kryvaks had attacked humanity because they feared what humans might become. They hadn't understood that the same evolutionary forces that made humans dangerous when threatened also made them capable of remarkable growth and creativity when at peace. It was a lesson other species would eventually learn as humanity continued to expand into the galaxy. Humans weren't the strongest or most technologically advanced species, but 300,000 years of evolution had given them something perhaps more valuable: the ability to adapt, to turn disadvantages into strengths, to find creative solutions to seemingly impossible problems. And any species that failed to understand that did so at their own peril.